tutorial. I'm cripeman. What we're going to do this time here is we're going to look at shapes as emitters. You caught me putting the finishing touches on a star, yeah, like you guys just walked in. Actually, this is my second go at this. So stars are a little bit harder than what I thought they would be. Actually, figure you just go in and make a star shape, but you know, the points being all the same size and all that stuff. It's kind of harder to get to than what I thought it would be. Great. We're not going to dwell on this too long. It's going to seem like we are because it's going to seem like we are, but I'm going to try not to take too long on this. So yeah, this is going to be our basic star shape. Grr. Seriously, it's harder than what I thought it was going to be. But this is going to be our star shape. Everything's cool. Let's go ahead and jump out of here. And this second attempt at doing this, so have a couple shapes already loaded up. So here's our star, and you notice that when you make something in the spline modeler, there are three different faces. There are two front faces and there's a side face. Let me show you a little trick here. Let's go ahead and grab shader and drop it in our front face. Drop it in our front face here. And make sure when you do this, you click and you drag immediately, because if you linger, the shading domains disappear. So, and then you got to go back all through here again and do this. Let's go ahead and put red for the side face. And we're good to go. Now let's go ahead and drop a particle emitter in our scene. And let's tweak this out. First of all, our shape is going to be objects. It's going to be our little arrow objects. Don't got to mess with number of particles. Let's do 100 particles over here. Lifetime, this is a 10-second animation. Let's go ahead and make that 5. Unlink item for rotation from trajectory. And let's go ahead and make them get little immediately. Pushing this guy here. And that's going to make them get little really quick. Okay, and generate particles before start. 0, 1. Yeah, size, mass, velocity 2. I think we're good in this end. Oh, emitter object, duh, that's what we're here for. You notice when you click on emitter object and there's no object, when there's no object selected, your little drop down that contains your shading domains doesn't show up. Let's go ahead and click star, and all of a sudden our shading domains show up. And we're going to use our side face as our emitter. Now it doesn't use the shading part of it. It uses your particle emitter uses the polygons that the shading domain is part of. That it directs them at the shading domain, but it goes to the vertexes. It goes to your polygons. Let's see. Go to local gravity. Turn local gravity off. And let's see what we got. Yeah, it's not what we want. Let's, oh yeah, we don't have our object loaded in. Let's go ahead and add our object. It's going to be our arrow. Now we should be good to go. Now you can't really see what's going on because on your particle emitter, go into the General tab. I have as default, it's set up as a light mesh on your preview. You can kind of show every single particle that's being emitted. There's 100 particles on here right now emitting from our star. Let's go ahead and turn that to mesh, and now we can see our arrows coming out, and you can see what I was talking about. They emit from the polygons, and they go from the angle that the polygon is at too. Let me show you something here. Now here's one that I did that I pre-did. You notice how the particles are coming out from the angle that are on the star. This is a good thing to know. If you need your particles to come out from any certain direction, if you have an arc that you want displayed, showing particles, or a star, or a heart, or any kind of shape, even your poser figures, you can do that. Now this little guy right here, let me show you a little something I did with this one thing. Let's take our star and duplicate it. We're going to call the duplication star clone. Let's click out of that so it doesn't happen again. And now let's size it down just a little bit. Well, actually, we're going to size it down quite a bit. And I need to bring it up just a little bit too. Actually, that's going to be a little bit smaller than what I thought it was going to be. Now, you have two star shapes. Let's go ahead and make the emitter invisible. And now it looks like the little bitty star is emitting the shapes. And that's what I did with this right here. The star is kind of on the outside of this, emitting and giving this star a chance to be, you know, its own little thing, its own little entity. Now, what I was talking about, the arcs. Let's go ahead and change our emitted object to this guy right here. There we go. And you can see what I was talking about. If you need your particles to come out kind of semi-spherical, or using an arc, you can draw that with your vertex modeler or your spline modeler. Whatever shape you want your particles to come out as, you can do that in your vertex modeler. Make yourself arches or triangles or whatever. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. That's your particle emitter. Oh, one other thing. Poser figures. Now I would have done this with a poser figure, but yeah, they're kind of unwieldy. Here's the short version of that. If you bring a poser figure into the particle room, or into your scene, and you want certain shading domains on your poser figure to emit particles, you can do that, but what you're going to have to do is make sure that you click model to get your shading domains to show up. If you push model, then all the shading domains show up, and then your machine starts to slow down considerably. Just FYI. So anyway, that's your shapes as particle emitters. It's one of the cool things that the particle emitter can do, and yeah, it's very, it can be RAM intensive, but it doesn't have to be. Okay, just so you know. So anyway, that's it for this time. I'm cripeman, and I'll talk to you again later.